Good morning, dear students. In last class, explain the concept of an economy. I recall that in previous class. What is meaning of that an economy? An economy is a mechanism through which scarce resources prioritized and organized for the productions of the goods and services. Next, another thing concept to explain in the previous class. The concept of the economic goods. What is the meaning of that economic goods? Which goods and services are priced? Which goods and services are priced? That goods are economic goods. And next, another thing, concept economic activities. Income generating activities. Income generating activities are called as the economic activities. And what are the problems of an economy? Why problems arises in that economy? Wants are unlimited. Resources are limited. One more concept in this syllabus or in this concept in an economy is choice and scarce. In economy is resources are limited and human beings or human wants are unlimited. Now, this session, I explain the basic problems of an economy or central problems of an economy. First of all, what are the central problems of an economy? Production, consumption, exchange of the goods and services. Productions of the goods and services, exchange of the goods and services, and consumption of the goods and services are the basic economic activities. Are one of the important basic economic activities of our life. Production, consumption, exchange of the goods and services are the one of the important basic economic activities or one of the important basic functions of an economy. In production or consumption or exchange, in these basic functions or in these basic activities, every society is faced by the scarcity of the resource. In these productions of the goods and services or the consumptions of the goods and services or exchange of the goods and services are to the phase in society to face the scarcity of the resources and the scarcity of the commodities. Basic economic activities or basic functions of that economy, production irbodu, consumption ಅನುಭೋಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂತದ್ದು, ವಿನಿಮಯ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು, ವಿನಿಮಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Production, consumption, exchange are the one of the important basic activities of the economy as in a society that face, in community to face in the society or the society faced by the scarcity of the resources, and this is the scarcity of the resource, and society to face by that scarcity of the resource. This scarcity of the resource to gives, this scarcity of the resources that gives the rise in the problem of the choice. Production, consumption, exchange. These are the basic important economic activities of an economy. These economic activities to face in that society or in every country, in every economy also to face by the scarcity of the resources, and scarcity of the resources to face or the scarcity of resource. In scarcity of the resource that gives rise in the problem of the choice. It is rises in the problem of the choice. The scarcity of the resources of an economy out of computing usages. Out of computing the usages. The scarcity of the resources to face or the scarcity and to face by the arises in the choice, the problem of the choice. The scarcity of the resources to face or scarcity of the resources of an economy, how to be computing, how to the scarcity of the resources to face computing usage, computing usages. This is one more questions in our examinations, like in multiple choice questions. The scarce resources of an economy have to face, or the scarce resources of an economy have to be computing the usages. Then now the concept of the very important question in 4 mark as well as to the 2 mark questions. What are the basic problems of an economy, or explain the centrally problems of an economy? Very, very important question in our examinations, in final examinations as well as today in other examinations. What are the basic problems of an economy? In basic problems, it may be classified into the main classifications like the 3 problems. One thing is what to produce, and second one is how to produce, and third one is for whom to produce. Central problems of an economy to face by the one thing is the 3 important problems or 3 important central problems, like one thing is what to produce, and second one is how to produce, and for whom to produce. First of all, the concept like what to produce. ಅರ್ಥವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯ ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳು ಯಾವುದೇ ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆ ಎದುರಿಸುವಂತ 3 ಅಥವಾ ಎದುರಿಸುವಂತ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳು ಯಾವುದಂತ ವರ್ಗೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ 3 ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಗೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು. ಒಂದನೇದಾಗಿ ವಾಟ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್, ಏನನ್ನು ಉತ್ಪಾದಿಸಬೇಕು, what to produce, and second one is how to produce, and third one is for whom to produce. ಏನನ್ನು ಉತ್ಪಾದಿಸಬೇಕು, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಉತ್ಪಾದಿಸಬೇಕು, ಮೂರನೇದಾಗಿ ಯಾರಿಗಾಗಿ ಉತ್ಪಾದಿಸಬೇಕು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ what to produce, ಏನನ್ನು ಉತ್ಪಾದಿಸಬೇಕು. This problems in that central economy are faced by the unlimited wants and the availability of the resources scarce. This problems what to produce, the problem of the choice. It is like the problem of the choice. Problem of the choice. ಆಯ್ಕೆಯ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು. Every society must decide on how much of that each of many possible goods and services it will produce. Every society has to be faced, or every society in every society out of phase, or every society must be, or every society must decide on how much of the each of many possible goods and services. In this situation, as the resources are too scarce, in resources in society or every country or in each and every economy have to face in scarce resources, or the resources are scarce. An economy cannot produce everything in the infinite quantity. In every country, economy has to face the scarce resources. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಅರ್ಥವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆ ಏನು ಎದುರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿರಳತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ the scarce in every society or every economy to face, or every economy have to face by the scarce resources, or the resources are scarce. An economy cannot provide, or an economy cannot produce everything in infinite. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಕೂಡ ಎದುರಿಸುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿರಳವಾಗಿ ಸಿಗುವಂತಹ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲಗಳು. In every society or every country must decide how much each of the many possible goods and services it will produce. It is one thing of that problems like in scarcity of the resource and unlimited ones. It is faced by that each and every country. In developed countries is there, or underdeveloped countries. Suppose in developed or capitalist economy as well as to the centrally planned economy, socialist economy. For example, in resources worth of, just for example, in resources worth of the 10 crores are available. It is 10 crores of that available. Just for example, resources worth of what to produce. In resources, let us assume that resources in resource worth is 10 crore. In resources available for the 10 crores. Assuming that technology is constant. Assuming that technology is constant. ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. It is assuming that technology will be constant. We can utilize entire resources entirely for the productions of the gun or producing in natural resources, or in the each and every, for example, like 10 crores of that resources, worth of the 10 crores, 10 ಕೋಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, 10 crores. Assuming technology can be constant, there will be no changes in that country's techniques or technology. Each country or that country can be utilized these resources entirely for the productions of the gun. You see, productions of the gun in 10 crores of that resources, worth of the 10 crores of the resources, that resources can be entirely resources can be producing of that gun. Just for example, fully utilize ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲವನ್ನು ಒಂದು ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಗನ್ನನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. 10 the worth of the 10 crores of the natural resources and producing of that natural resources in entire resources can be utilized for the productions of the gun and producing, suppose entire resources can be used by the productions of the gun. Total gun is 10 crores is 500 gun, 500 guns. And one more thing is 500 gun. And same worth of the 10 crores of the natural resources or resources can be utilized for entire 10 crores can be utilized for the productions of that food production or food productions of that food. 10 ಕೋಟಿ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲವನ್ನು ಆಹಾರ ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಉತ್ಪಾದಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಬಳಸ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ. ಆ 10 ಕೋಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು 10 crores of the worth of the resources. First of all you see entire resources used by the productions of the gun. Total gun in 10 crores is 500 guns. One thing of the process. Or same in 10 crores of the natural resources can producing of the food production in food and producing of the food production like in rice. In rice, that rice production is 500 quintals. 500 quintals or 500 quintals of 500 tons. For example, in 500 tons, 1 ton is like 10 quintal. Total in worth of the 10 crores of the natural resources can be fully utilized for the productions of the food materials like in rice, the productions of the rice. That entire resources used for the productions of the rice, total production is 500 tons. 500 tons of the rice production. In this situation, we required in gun and food production. In gun and food production, we require gun for the defense purposes. In gun for the defense purposes. ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗನ್ನನ್ನು ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ರಕ್ಷಣೆಯ ಉದ್ದೇಶಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಗನ್ನನ್ನು ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. We require here entire resources can be used for the productions of the gun. That is the benefits like that in defense benefits or the defense purposes and rise for the consumption purposes. One thing is first example in 10 crores of the worth of the resources can be fully utilized for the guns. Total gun is 500 guns produced. That gun is on the basis of the defense purposes and same 10 crores of the worth of the natural resources can be used for the productions of the food. That is for example like rice production in 500 tons. That is the production is fully required for the full resources used for the productions like that in consumption purposes. Then you see that what goods can be produced and you your decision is which one is the problem of the choice, which one is the most suitable for that in the present day, and which one is the next, suppose your alternative, next best alternative, which one is selected and which one is the selected and which one is the foregone or sacrifice. First of all, what to produce, the problem of the choice. Are you producing of that gun or are you producing of that rice? That is the base of that country is the resource base of that country's economic condition base can be produced. Then it depends upon the wisdom of the planners of the centrally planned economy or market economy, or the that is the supply purposes or the demand purposes of the market economy, or both of the market forces. That is one thing is the production of what to produce. And second question or second problem says how to produce. Then first of all, what to produce? Problem of the choice. And second one is how to produce. Problem of the choice of techniques. Choice of techniques. ಮೊದಲನೇ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನನ್ನು ಉತ್ಪಾದಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಏನನ್ನು ಉತ್ಪಾದಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಆಯ್ಕೆಯ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ನಾವು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದು ಯಾವುದು ನಮಗೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಗಣ್ಣು ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾ ಅಥವಾ ಏನಾಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ರೈಸ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆಹಾರ ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆ ಬೇಕಾ, ಅದರ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ಕೆಯ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ. ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಆದ ನಂತರ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್, ಹೇಗೆ ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ದ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್, ಯಾವ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಬಳಸಿಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್. This problem or second problems how to produce is a problem relating to the choice of technology. It is one thing of the crucial system of that economics or the crucial system of that economics. It is a problem of the choice of the technology. In the two techniques of the production is there. In two techniques is there. One thing is the labor intensive techniques and the capital intensive techniques. What is the meaning of that labor intensive techniques and what is the meaning of that capital intensive techniques? In each and every country, either developed country or either underdeveloped country, in some countries have the abundance of the abundant or use of their natural resources, and some countries have the human resources. In capitalist economy or capital intensive techniques or labor intensive techniques. What is the meaning of that in labor intensive techniques? The two type of the techniques can be used in the production how to produce. Then labor intensive techniques, what is the meaning of the labor intensive technique? In which more labor is used in the production than is capital. Which country have to the more laborers or human resources is that countries can be used by the labor intensive techniques. Labor intensive techniques ಯಾವ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾನವ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಆದಾಗ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಮಾನವ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲ ಬಳಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು. That is the labor intensive techniques in which more labor is used in the productions than the capital. ಬಂಡವಾಳಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು labor intensive techniques. And what is the meaning of that in capital intensive techniques? In which more capital is used for the productions of the labor. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾರ್ಮಿಕರಿಗಿಂತ ಲೇಬರ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ಗಿಂತ ಲೇಬರ್ಗಿಂತ ಯಾವ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಹೊಂದಿದಂಥದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರಗತಿ ಹೊಂದಿದಂಥ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿವ್ capitalist which country the more than the labors, which country or in which more labor or in which more capital is used for the production in the labor. ಯಾವ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅದು ಯಾವ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬಂಡವಾಳ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಆ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಗಳು ಏನು ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಬಳಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಹೌ ಟು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ the choice between the two techniques becomes to the problems of the two techniques lead to the conflicting the results, and techniques generated for the more consumption or these techniques are the how to labor intensive techniques or capital intensive techniques. These techniques ಇದು ಎರಡು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಗಳು, ಎರಡು ರೀತಿಯ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಗಳು created by the employment opportunities and rises in that rises in the efficiency or manufacturing of that large quantities. That is one thing of the labor intensive techniques as well as the capital intensive techniques. It is more useful to the production processes, the problems of the choice of the technology. And next last one is for whom to produce. The goods ordered to selected by that part to produce, the problem of the choice, and the second one is how to produce, that is the either capital intensive techniques or the labor intensive techniques. And next another thing is for whom to produce. For whom to produce, the goods and services produced in the economy. Goods and services are produced in that economy are consumed by the citizens on the basis of the community wise. It is the producer either producing of the labor intensive techniques are used by the labor intensive or capital intensive techniques, that producing of the goods and services in consumed by the producing goods and services in economy as to the consumed by the citizens. The human wants and resources are in economy on the availability or the in the regions or region to region. Suppose in for whom to produce, on the basis of the production is like either capital intensive techniques or the labor intensive techniques in producing of that goods. Problem of the choice of the distribution, that is the distribution, the problem of that distribution. ಯಾರಿಗಾಗಿ ನಾವೇನಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾರಿಗಾಗಿ ಉತ್ಪಾದಿಸಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ವಿತರಣೆಯ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ವಿತರಣೆಯ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ವಿತರಣೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ನಾಗರಿಕರಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. Resources are used for the produced for the goods and services, and goods and services on the basis of the citizens or the consumed by its citizens. The human wants and resources available from the human resources and human wants or wants and resources, and different countries and different type of the human resources is there, or the wants and resources are to the country wise different and region to region or place to place changes. And next suppose you see that in a concept like the important questions like for whom to produce or whom to produce, there is the questions leads to the problem of the distribution. There is the questions like problem of the distributions. These are the very important questions like in the central problems of an economy. Then I will explain the concept of the next very important concept in production or the PPC or the production possibility frontier. I will explain that in the next session.